What is going on, you guys? It is Fusion here with the Fusion Nation, and today we're doing something a little bit different, guys. I'm actually reading from a script in this video, so if my voice doesn't sound as bombastic as normal, I guess you would say, it's because I'm reading from the script. This is my first time I've actually done something like this. If you guys want to see more of the regular videos, up in the top right, there's playlists and a bunch of stuff all throughout the video, but if you guys want to see some new stuff and my opinions on this franchise, be sure to stick around. We're going to be giving my basic rundown, my thoughts about both of these games and which one I think is best. So if you guys want to see that, be sure to stick around. There's going to be minor spoilers for the beginning of these games. Nothing really big at all. But if you guys wanted to stick around and watch this, I really would appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe as always, and let's get into this. So let's just get this out of the way right now. Is this game good or bad? I know that the story is short and they cut out of a lot of content from the original. In fact, my first playthrough took me just over 4 hours to complete. That was cutscenes and all, plus there was a lot of lore stuff that I could have collected, and it could have easily been 5 hours, maybe even 6 hours if I didn't push it like I was going. But no, if you watch check out my Let's Play in the top right hand of the corner, I say in the videos that I'm going faster than I normally would. So that was me actually running through the game and trying to be quick. For most people, it could easily take 6 hours or 7 hours or however long it takes you to beat the game. But at the end of the day, that's what these games are all about. Tell me that they're not about playing fast. The game ranks you on your completion time. Now, whether this game is worth $60 is up to you. Me personally, I think it's probably, if it was $40, it was a must buy. This game, it's pretty short whenever it released from, back in the 90s, so it's not a big issue for me. Plus, you have the item shop at the end. Whenever you beat the game and you beat the challenges in the game, you get points, and you can use that for buying items that you normally cannot be obtained at all, like infinite ammo weapons or the knife and a bunch of other stuff, outfits. These items and weapons will help you out a ton, especially when you're going for hardcore nightmare or even inferno mode runs. That's one thing this game has going for it. It has 3 modes, extra modes that are really hard: hardcore, nightmare, and inferno. I haven't played any of those yet. I'm kind of scared to, I'm not going to lie with you guys. Because this game is actually it's a lot more challenging than RE2, in my opinion. There's a lot of replayability in this game, just not as much as Resident Evil 2. Partly because you have 2 different characters in RE2, and they have A and B scenarios for both, plus hardcore mode for A and B. As I said earlier, this game is more challenging than RE2 ever thought about being. It's definitely more action-oriented than RE2, and then for some, that's a turnoff, let's be honest here. But I think that this game does something amazing. It manages to blend the shit-your-pants moments and the action very well. Look at this gameplay I got right here for you guys. I got Nemesis behind me, and up ahead of me I have 3 zombies, 2 of which have got to die. So I have to shoot 2 zombies, hopefully get the kill, or stun them or knock them back, before Nemesis manages to either come up behind me or jump ahead of me. And as you can see, Nemesis jumps ahead of me and I'm able to get the zombies. Actually, no, there's 3 zombies because there's one outside the hallway. But this game does a great job of making you feel hunted and pursued. Nemesis is the pursuer after all, let's be honest here. Even though I have to knock the game because after a certain point he's relegated to just boss fights, which I do not understand why Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 do that. Because they'll follow you around for a while, but after a certain point, they don't really show up anymore. They kind of just forget about them, throw them in for a boss fight. Boss fights, by the way, this game has them. They are on point. This game should be commended by that. And that is truly the problem with this game. Everything is so scripted. I've said this before, and I'll even say it in the Resident Evil 2 section of this. The downfall of this game is that it doesn't feel like a sandbox. That is where it fails, okay? This game right here, it's breakneck speed. I'm not going to say any spoilers, obviously, of course. But all I'm going to say is that you are moving, like you're sprinting. And you're basically doing that in this game. Altogether, I really like the game. And if it's on sale in the future, or if you really like these games, it's definitely a must-buy if the action and scriptedness of the game doesn't ruin it for you. Alright, guys, so this game gets a lot of praise. And believe me, it's well-earned, okay? Great on you, Capcom, for remaking 2 amazing games that I would never have experienced before, because let's be honest here, I'm not going to look up either an emulator or buy this game or go and buy a PS2 or something like that to go play a game that came out more than 20 years ago, guys. Let's be honest here. I feel like there's a lot of people in the boat with me on this. I have no interest at all in doing that, and I think most people would agree with me on that. Resident Evil 2 is one of my favorite games to come out in a long time. It has put everything that most games these days do not have. When you play this game, you could tell the dev team put their soul, their essence into this game. Let's be honest here. It is something you have to experience for yourself. This game, you could tell it was loved by the dev team. It shows it, just in the details. Resident Evil 3 has this as well, but just to a lesser extent. The gameplay is nothing short of amazing in both of these games. Clearing out the RPD room by room and having to worry about ammo consumption or being nervous about what the game has in store later and what's in the next room over is absolutely amazing. This game has survival horror down to a T, especially on the first playthrough of the A and B scenarios. Speaking of the A and B runs, this is where RE2 gets ahead of Resident Evil 3 for me. If you're a completionist, like me, by the way, guys, when you think of completionist, you think of the Fusion Nation, guys. Let's be honest here. You have to beat the game 4 times on standard difficulty. That's 2 for the A runs and 2 for the B runs, and 4 extra times on hardcore if you want to get all S+. That's 8 times, and that's assuming that in your first playthroughs you get the S+ time, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, my first playthrough, you guys can see that as well up in the top right if you want. It took me a long time to beat this game. I wish I had exactly how many hours down it was. But to get S+ on a hardcore, it's even harder. You got to beat the game in under 2 hours, I think. 2 hours and 30 minutes. You have to beat the game in under 2 hours and 30 minutes. And for B playthroughs, it's just 2 hours. I may have those numbers a little bit off, but it's pretty close. Without saving no more than 3 times, by the way. If you're not getting what I'm saying, it's replayability. This game has it. It's miles ahead of Resident Evil 3, because the differences with the A and B runs, and the differences in Leon and Claire's campaigns, don't get me wrong, a lot of stuff in this game, especially whenever you're playing as either Leon or Claire, we'll use this as an example. If you play Leon's campaign and you're playing Leon on B, the same stuff will happen, just in different circumstances. Mr. X is a whole other ball game. Where Nemesis comes running at you and actively tries to kill you on the spot, Mr. X is more slow, methodical. And combine that with the corridors and the RPD, that you can hear this man walking around up above you. Like, listen to this. You can hear him walking around. You have a really intimidating boss in this game. And I'm telling you guys right now, I've beat this game, well, 4 times right now. Actually, no, probably more like 5 or 6 or something like that. Because I had to, 5. 5 playthroughs, okay. 2 for Leon, 3 for Leon, and 2 for Claire. I am still scared to death by Mr. X. Just because you can hear him walking around. The sections you deal with him, you know, if you know what you're doing, they don't last too long. But if you listen, you can hear the man walking around. I don't like that. That's the absolute turn off for me. Okay, I do not like that. But in the corridors in this game, it makes it really claustrophobic and heart pumping, anxiety. Really, if you think about it, I just do not like that at all. You can hear him hunting around. You're playing the most intense game of hide and seek you'll ever play. Okay, guys. So now for the part of the video that you've all been waiting for. Both games are bringing a ton of content to the table, whether it be RE2's A and B scenarios and 2 different character paths to follow, bringing a lot of replayability, or RE3's Nightmare and Inferno modes, with its gameplay, memorable boss fights, and the item shop, bringing intense action to the series. It's really what you prefer. While we're talking about this, both games have pretty good stories. But let's be honest, these games aren't renowned for their stories that they tell. It's more about the gameplay, and like I said, the story. The story is there. Resident Evil 3's campaign fleshes out the story more, especially if you pick up all the collectibles and everything you can find and read the computer scattered around the map. All around, both of these games are at least A tier, but my favorite one has to be RE2. Let me explain why. I have beaten Resident Evil 2 at least 5 times, to what I can think. I have yet to play hardcore mode to get S+. Okay guys, so while I was editing this video, I found a few things that I actually wanted to say, but I forgot to say when I recorded it. This game, Resident Evil 2, it does a really great job of being a sandbox. I said this earlier in the video, you guys remember this in Resident Evil 3. This game has more replayability because there's so many different things that you can do. Resident Evil 3 is so much on rails, and the replayability just isn't there for me. I don't play the game as near as often as I do Resident Evil 2. In fact, I have 22 or something like that hours in Resident Evil 2, and I've only got 13 in Resident Evil 3. Those are great numbers, don't get me wrong. But myself, I just prefer Resident Evil 2's gameplay, the slow nature of it, and really just how the game builds up. You know, the first half of the game is really scary because you're trying to find ammo and conserve ammo and clear out all the enemies you have to. But in Resident Evil 3, you can't do that, because in Resident Evil 3, whenever you kill an enemy, they'll just probably respawn, or the area will reset, and then more zombies or something like that will come in. So it's a lot more, you know, you just kind of want to go through and do what you're going to go do. There's no problem with that gameplay. I just prefer Resident Evil 2's gameplay over Resident Evil 3. Oh, back to script. Mr. X is just more scarier to me. You don't have as much room to dodge him, unlike RE3, where you can get a perfect dodge and get away on Nemesis. It's the anxiety that he's going to come into this small room and I'm going to have to juke him around the table or something like that. Is what gets me. Don't get me wrong, Nemesis has his own heart-pumping moments. The boss fights with Nemesis are absolutely amazing, and it fits in with the game. It fits in with the game's more fast-paced gameplay. But it's the old school, more slow, methodical approach to this gameplay that I love and I prefer. I find it more rewarding for these types of games as well. A lot of stuff I didn't even get to mention in this video. And both games are truly great. So if you enjoyed Resident Evil 2, I'm sure you'll love Resident Evil 3. These games, don't get me wrong, don't get it twisted. These games are really good. But if you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comment section below on your own thoughts of what you think is the best one. And while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe as always. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.